Alright, so this is going to be another comic review, and this one comes from my good friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again. And today we're going to be talking about Jessica Jones, The Variants. So what is Jessica Jones, The Variants? This is from Gail Simone with artwork by Phil Noto. And basically what it is Spider-Verse, but with Jessica instead. And I gotta say, it's kind of nice to see another character get the... basically get that treatment, like basically get the multiverse treatment, because the thing of it is that it's not like with Spider-Verse where, you know, it's all characters that we know. Here, Gail Simone gets to play with that, like Gail Simone gets to play with that whole story. Anyway, so let's get started with the video. So the story is that in here, Jessica and Luke are finally getting ready to get married. Which is funny because I thought they were already... Well, I guess they divorced, then they're getting back to being married. And basically what happens is that Daredevil alerts Jessica that, hey, someone that Kilgrave fucked with has a message for you. And basically, through this person who does eventually take her own life, Jessica discovers that what is happening is that Kilgrave implanted a message in her brain that's gonna go off on her... that's gonna go off and make her kill make her kill Luke and Danny, her daughter. Not Danny Rand, but I imagine if he tried to get in the way. So Jessica's already freaking out. Jessica, like that in itself would have been a story. Like Jessica Jones that in itself would have been a story. But here's where it gets crazier, because Jessica discovers that what happens is that variants from other universes of herself are colliding into her universe. And now she has to team up with a ragtag versions of herself to figure out what's going on. So you have two different storylines going on while this is all happening. Like, that's really what's going on, is that you have the Kilgrave underlying thing, and you have the variant storyline. It really, and don't get me wrong, I love Gail Simone as a writer. I think she's excellent, but it really, like, one of the flaws I have with this comic is that it really does feel like, it honestly feels like Gail had two different story ideas and was like, I don't know if either of them can carry a 5-issue miniseries, well, they technically could, and decided to mash them together. And it's a little awkward story-wise. Like, we're dealing with a war on two different fronts, and it's really clunky how they try to tie them together, how Gail tries to tie them together. I'm not saying this is a bad comic. Oh, no. Gail, if one thing Gail's good at is really getting, you know, characters who are emotionally broken and making them interesting. Hell, one of the best books she ever wrote, Secret Six, was all about that. You know, people who are emotionally broken people and can't fix themselves, doing horrible things in the name of good. And Jessica's like that. A lot of, like, Bendis's Alias book was very much of that nature, where Jessica was very much this broken character. So it really falls in line with it very much falls in line with the character. Now, the other thing that is kind of big is that the variants themselves are pretty fun. We have one who's like Captain America, another one who refers to herself as Omega, who was married to Daredevil, who died, and another character called Nitrous, who straight up was meant to be Huntress. Because, yeah, Gail Simone did write, she created Birds of Prey, and Huntress is on that team, and it's straight up Huntress without the cape. It is the mask, and a lot of the costume does remind you of a Marvelized version of Huntress. So I was like, that was intentional. I know that was intentional. What I also like is that Jessica is not afraid to go to her super friends for help. Like, when she finds out that what the message from Kilgrave is in her brain, basically she goes to Jen and is like, hey, I need you to stop me if I freak out. And, you know, She-Hulk is just right there, and she's wearing, like, the classic costume, like the Fantastic Four costume, and she's like, I just wanted to throw it on, I like it. Like, I kind of dig that. I really do dig that for this. I also like that, you know, there's a great conversation with, she goes to Xavier, because I'm like, yeah, that does make sense that you would go to Xavier to deal with a problem with your mind. The twist villain in here is a pretty much psychopath, just this narcissistic psychopath, and it's all kind of wrapped up pretty fast, but still it's a lot of fun. And Jessica really doesn't really care about the whole variance thing, because it's like, look, you all are just me in one condition or another, and I got bigger things to pry. Like, I am dealing with my own shit right now. Please go away. So yeah, even if the two conflicting storylines are a little it's kind of mishandled a bit, it really does. It still works. Like, for a 5-issue miniseries, usually I kind of talk about, like, if a miniseries is too short or whatever. This one kind of feels... Admittedly, it does, like, I feel like this one could have worked for at least one more... We should have gotten one more issue. I really do feel like we should have at least gotten a 6-issue instead of a 5-issue, but whatever. All in all, if you enjoyed Jessica Jones or the Alias books, here you go. I thought this was pretty good. I really love the characterization, and I also love, there's a great moment where, like, Xavier goes, if you really want to beat Kilgrave, you have to forgive him. And in my head, I'm like, no! The dude's essentially raped her for years and took away her freedom. And even Jessica is like, nah, fuck that. I'm not forgiving the guy who destroyed my life for, all these years. And I'm just like, and yeah, even the comic is like, yeah, that's stupid, Charles. Like, that's fucking dumb, Charles. You're not going to forget, there's very little chance of someone in the real world forgiving their rapist. I'm just saying. Anyway, so there you go, guys. Once again, I'd like to thank Chris for this comic, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed this, and other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.